We have trans craziness in schools, from gender-neutral parenting to drag queens charged with crimes. Happens a lot. Schools are pushing drag clubs, and a Supreme Court is ready to strike down conversion therapy bans. Trans controversies just keep escalating. We're seeing these like every day. We have a TikTok video from 60 Minutes Australia which details parents who are raising their child without a gender. I mean, put the parents in jail.
We're not trying to eliminate gender. We're actually trying to show how limitless gender can be, right? And just really helping kids find their own path to it and follow their lead so that they feel comfortable and authentic.
In America, someone who knows how it's done is gender creative parenting guru and social scientist Dr. Kyle Myers. 7 years ago, Kyle and her Australian husband Brent had their first baby, Zuma.
We didn't assign a gender at birth, and we didn't disclose Zuma's reproductive anatomy to people who didn't need to know. The reproductive anatomy that my kiddo was born with, I didn't want to assign too many labels and assumptions and, destinies on top of that.
So you believe that if you're born with a penis, doesn't necessarily make you a boy?
Right. Because so a lot of people who are born with penises identify as a boy, and a lot of people who are born with vulvas identify as a girl. A big part of that is because they're assigned the boy and girl labels, right, and are socialized as such.
Isn't that confusing for a little child?
I think it's actually more confusing to make children think that the 8 billion people on the planet all neatly fit into one of two boxes.
Oh, God. Yeah, because that's how things have worked since the dawn of time, and it worked out perfect. And then now, as we see civilization collapsing, what's happening? There's a million genders. Actually, you should teach your child the basics, which would be there's 2 genders, and you quite literally fit into one of the 2 boxes. These people, the parents should be in jail, and CPS should be called to remove the child immediately, because there's no way. I mean, she'd be better off in foster care than with these freaks. So we have an image of a well-known Phoenix drag queen who was arrested for, shockingly, having sex with a 13-year-old boy. They were going to be a part of the Phoenix Pride Festival. By the way, I see these, having sex with a kid, so raping a kid. That's what that is. These people are normally, I call them pedophiles because they really normally are. The amount of them that get called out for being pedophiles on the weekly basis. And I'm like, imagine how many are doing crazy things behind the scenes that never get called out and never have consequences. I'm like, wait, you're telling me the man who for fun dresses like a woman also is weird and has weird sexual issues and is taking it out on children? Wow, I couldn't believe that. That's why I have an issue. I'll probably move forward with this and they'll probably try to kill me. I have an issue with Santa Monica Boulevard. Not only is it all prime real estate, it's all the gay bars, and they do drag every night. And I'm like, here's the thing. I have an issue with it because that's a street that children and families should be walking down. And I'm like, I don't think it's appropriate. I think if you want to do that stuff, you need to put it on the edge of town. I don't think you get prime real estate. And I also don't think it's appropriate because it's like dudes dancing in thongs with their asses and dicks out. And I'm like, so families have to walk around here and children have to walk by this? Like, if anything, just do this to protect the children at this point. I mean, this is like disgusting. This guy's probably going to be out in like 2 days. Probably not even going to go to jail. I don't know anymore. We have a video of a high school in which a teacher has multiple trans flags in his office. There are also flyers for a new club called Sachet Society. The club's focus is RuPaul's Drag Race show. High school? Where's the Palestine flag? Okay. So this is why my kids are being homeschooled. I like how they say that there's, it's so funny. when we call them groomers, because that's what they are, they're literally pedophile groomers, they're so quick to push back and be like, no, we're just letting them express who they are. You're literally shoving it down their throats and forcing them. I have a question. How many of these teachers that put the Palestine flags, the trans flags, blah, blah, none of them have the American flags. Okay, so if you are going to push this onto kids, then how would you feel about putting up a MAGA flag, a Trump flag, some Christian propaganda, even some Jewish propaganda? How about all that? Because I noticed that that's not being shoved down any of these kids' throats. It's very, put a don't tread on me flag up or something. But I'm like, no. Because you know why? They would tear it down. They wouldn't allow it. You guys are grooming children. You are pedophiles. It is weird. I also have always thought that teachers, some of them are really good people and they used to believe that the kids could turn out okay. But now I'm just like, what a perfect job for a pedophile. That's like, you get to be around kids and push your agenda down their throat. I'm like, this has got to be some like weird Democrat government, like MK Ultra stuff behind the scenes. Cause I'm like, this is very clear. My kids are not going to school. I would rather them be freaks and homeschool them because they're definitely not going to be around that. So the Supreme Court is striking down Colorado's ban on conversion therapy. So this is the practice of doctors trying to get kids from not transitioning. And they're trying to stop that. They're trying to stop them from not letting kids transition. Am I correct on this? Which is insane. Because, look, I think that there's so much money in this. Okay, here, I'll give you my conspiracy theory of why I think all this is happening. I could be wrong, who knows? I believe that A, they want to depopulate us. They want us to just abort our children, mutilate ourselves, whatever. The second part of that is I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make children in society seem like adults. And the way you make a child seem like an adult is you allow them to make all their own decisions. Because when you're allowing children to make decisions, you are treating them like an adult when children should have very few decisions. And then when you see them as an adult, it justifies things you can do with them, like sexual things. Oh, well, like the kid is already so smart and has gender theory and changing his gender. So of course, this is totally normal. Okay, well, you know what? If you guys really think that, then let the kid drink, buy a pack of cigarettes, smoke, get some tattoos, since they're adults, right? That's anything sexual should be the last thing should not be on the table for a child. But it's funny because then when you interview them and you ask them those questions, they're like, well, that's insane. Okay, but you guys don't think any of this is insane? So they want to be like, no, you guys can't tell them not to be trans. We're going to ban that. I think the Democrats are getting paid, the doctors are getting paid, the teachers are getting kickbacks. The doctors should be in prison, anyone who does these things. And I think it's just a way to make money and to just ruin them. And then, we can eventually take these mentally ill children and find them on the internet and be like, hey, you want to go burn down this Republican's house? You'll be a martyr. This is like the liberal version of Islam. That's what it is. They're like, you're going to do this horrible thing and then you're going to be a martyr. People are going to remember you. This is why liberalism and Islam now is just like this. They're the useful idiots for them. They're like, oh, you already want to ruin yourselves in the country. This is perfect. That's why they're together. But that's just what I think, so who knows? Who knows? Not related to trans stuff, but another example of big problems in schools, equitable grading, in which it's impossible to fail a class. The next generation is and they will either turn out retarded or trans, and this is proof of that.
Why is no one talking about what's happening in our schools? I just came across this new thing that schools are rolling out called equitable grading. It sounds good in theory, and as a student I probably would have loved it, but from where I stand now, we're cooked. Equitable grading in practice means unlimited test retakes, no zeros for missing work, no late penalties, no homework, and no required participation. In short, everyone passes, and more than half of US public schools have already adopted at least one of these policies, and some districts have adopted all of them. Teachers themselves are calling it academic fraud. Meanwhile, the US already spends more per student than almost any other developed nation, and our students are performing near the bottom. For example, American 15-year-olds placed 28th out of 37 countries in math, and reading and math scores just hit their lowest levels in 20 years. In some districts, over 50% of middle school students are already 3 or more grade level levels behind, yet they're still being pushed through the system. Apparently, schools are implementing this to raise test scores, improve graduation rates, and close achievement gaps tied to race and income. But what happens when these kids hit the real world, when they enter college unprepared, or when they try to hold down a job where deadlines and accountability actually matters? This is the classroom version of handing out participation trophies to every kid on the field, and it's not just lowering the bar, it's destroying it. The results will be a generation of young adults unequipped to lead, innovate, question, or handle the responsibilities of real life.
These kids are going to go get a real job. They're going to be asked to do one task and they're going to like cry and kill themselves. Like literally, you know what this is going to do? It's going to punish the white kids, punish the Asian kids, and then they're going to lower the standards for the black kids. They're going to lower the standards for the illegals and the Mexican kids and all those kids. And it's just going to, once again, we can only function at a pace of the lowest performing people in society. And think about it. Those are the only people we cater to. Oh, no, it's okay. It's not your fault. And then I'm like, what's the point of it? Dude, this is literally idiocracy. I don't know how many times I have to bring it up. This is literally idiocracy coming to life. Also, what happened? Like, not only, this is past participation trophy, which is so funny because who was it? Wasn't it like, I don't know, my basketball players. Was it LeBron James who opened the school for black kids and then like gave all like millions of dollars and then none of them graduated? And I was like, oh, so actually just the whole equity thing and all this, it's actually just bullshit. It doesn't work out. So I don't know where, I guess just homeschool your kids. I don't really even know where to go from there.